Hey guys, and welcome back to F1 Fanatics, here for our British Grand Prix race roundup. We're just going to discuss some of the main things from the race and give you a bit of information about what actually happened through it, and we'll be coming back with a full review later in the week, which will have both me and Mike doing that. So, where shall we start with the race itself? Well, it was a race that all us F1 fans have been wanting. There were battles throughout, from the front right through the midfield, and everyone was jostling for positions, and it was enjoyable to watch. It was one of those where we're looking at it thinking, you can't race behind each other, the gaps are you can't get too close, but close battles were happening, and it shows actually it can happen. So going forward, we're looking forward to seeing more of this. If we start at the beginning of the race, it was great to see. Initially, clean away. Everyone got away through the first couple of corners really well, and first incident, no surprise, Grosjean was involved with the two Hasses coming together, ultimately ending their race before it had even begun, which wasn't great for the team to see, especially considering some of the off-field controversy that they've been having this week regarding sponsors and the team itself. At the front, you had the two Mercedes drivers battling wheel to wheel. Lewis was really pushing for that overtake, wanted to get it done as soon as possible, and ultimately stopped the gap growing, really, because the two Mercs were pushing each other. It did mean that Leclerc and Verstappen were able to actually stay quite close and keep that gap down. Lewis did make the move, as we all saw, tacking into Brooklands and Lovefield, getting past, but Bottas putting the power down through Copse, keeping it in front, which was great to see. Bottas 2.0 is definitely still with us, just needs to get a bit of confidence with himself, and remember, he is equal to Hamilton in that car. Driver wise, maybe not. Hamilton does have that edge, but the car's there to give him that support. Behind the two, Leclerc and Max Verstappen carrying their battle on. It was great to see that from Austria, they haven't let that go. It was still within them both. They wanted to have that battle, and it was great to see. Leclerc's obviously looked at it and thought, if that's the way we're driving, that's the way I want to be driving, because he was very competitive through the race, was jostling as much as anyone, and there was some very tough driving from the both of them, which was great. Especially when they were going side by side. The race did have the first couple of stops because of the tyre wear, which was expected. We were saying about the temperatures and being at the degradation being there between the different compounds. Quite surprising to see the fact that those that started on the medium tyre did decide that they were actually going to come in at the same sort of time as Leclerc on the softs. So tyre wear was that factor that we thought it was going to be. In the pits themselves, Bottas came in for another set of mediums. Leclerc came in and Verstappen was in at the same time, both of which coming out side by side was interesting to see through the pit lane. And Verstappen did get in front. Great work from the Red Bull team there to service that car and get him out. Verstappen though, cold tyres, never really seemed to be able to get the best of them straight away. So coming out with the cold tyres and going a little bit wide, allowing Leclerc back through, definitely did have that dent on his performance within that. We had Hamilton extending his stint on his mediums, went that little bit longer, and was obviously aware of what was going to be happening, and he was looking for that one stop. I think it was quite clear that Mercedes had decided 2 stop for Bottas, and Hamilton 1 stop would be quicker for him, and benefited majorly from the safety car. There were some, I would say, big winners and also some big losers in terms of the safety car timing. It wasn't great for some of the field, especially Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. They were definitely ones you would say were big losers. So Norris pitting just beforehand for tyres and then not being able to have enough tyre life to go the length of having that tyre life actually to go to the end of the race, whereas other drivers had been able to extend their stint to it. And Leclerc, obviously, Ferrari finding a way to make a result worse than it should be, really, aren't they? There's always that mistake in them, and definitely keeping Leclerc out that 1 lap longer meant that his race was affected quite severely from that. And it was one of those, as was said in the commentary on Sky, that the Ferrari mechanics appeared to have been quite happy with himself getting Vettel in at the right time and had almost forgot about Leclerc. Well, from that, we had the battle that we wanted. We knew that where the positioning were after the safety car. Hamilton was able to extend his lead, and Bottas was doing everything he could to open up the gap. We then had what was probably the big moment in the race itself, didn't we? With the Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel incident. Now, it was good racing from both of them. Max got past at Stowe, was showing great control with the car, did go a little bit wide, and that was what led ultimately to the end incident, and that was that going that little bit wider allowed Sebastian Vettel to get nicely into the toe and was able to pull back onto him. And Jenson Button said it best when it was Vettel was so keen to get that move back that he just let himself go with it, and he missed his braking point. There wasn't any malice to it. It was a simple mistake from Vettel. And it was really good to see that the construction of the cars has meant that both of them were able to finish the race, which, considering Verstappen went over the curb and you saw the car being airborne and Vettel ended up deep in the gravel trap, then for both cars to actually come away and finish the race was amazing. And obviously that did affect Vettel as a whole with his result. You know, getting the 10-second penalty, which, considering controversies that Formula One's had recently with penalties, I don't think there's going to be any argument about that, and having to change his front wing, and Verstappen obviously having to recover from the incident. I think the person that's going to feel most justified in that incident is Charles Leclerc, getting back those places that he had already lost under the safety car. As we were saying with it though, it's one of those, you want to see that hard racing, and both of them did it, which was great. We had that, and I think in the interview afterwards, Verstappen coming out and saying that Vettel had already been to him and apologised showed that it was just that hard racing, and I think we'll forgive drivers for having incidents like that if we're getting a show from it that we're wanting. We can't really have this video without discussing the final result, and Lewis winning his 6th British Grand Prix, which is incredible to show. It shows how amazing he is as a driver at the track and that he understands it so well. He's now gone ahead of Jim Clark and Alain Prost for most wins in a British Grand Prix, which was fantastic. And to top off his dominance of the race and control within it, to have Valtteri Bottas going on to soft tyres towards the end of the race, which obviously was because of regulations and needing to have the 2 different compounds, but also giving him that opportunity for fastest lap. For Hamilton to pull out that final lap of the race on hard tyres that had already done 30 laps and get that fastest lap time. He's gone away from this weekend scoring 26 points, the most he could get, and has increased his lead of the Drivers' Championship to 39 points. So it gives him a nice lead, which, going as we're coming up to the summer break, is fantastic for him, especially as he does seem to kick on in the second half of the season, and that's where he does build up a lot of his points. So it's looking as if Hamilton is going to have that chance to get a sixth world title, which would be great for him, obviously, and get him closer to Michael Schumacher's record. But it is still showing the fact that Hamilton is a fantastic driver and that Mercedes is a brilliant car. So that is our brief roundup of what happened. As I said at the beginning, Michael and I will be doing a full review of the race weekend where we will discuss things in a bit more detail and actually have a discussion about what we feel were the turning points and the key incidents over the weekend. So I will leave it there for now, but see you later in the week. Bye.